Welcome back. It's so great to see all your smiling faces. And we're going to be talking about why gear does matter. So you see all the time these videos of people just saying how gear doesn't matter, and it matters to a point because you only could do so much with the gear that you actually have. You can't be actually going out and getting all these amazing shots if you don't have the gear to actually help get you those shots. Now, yeah, I mean, when people say, though, that gear doesn't matter, they're saying don't let gear hold you back. All because you don't have a piece of equipment doesn't mean that you shouldn't go out and shouldn't try to get the shot still. It's just you shouldn't be limited by the gear that you have. That's all that people are saying of why gear doesn't matter. But you do need certain pieces of equipment to get certain shots. There's no way that you could get like a one take shot of a drone coming down and then just going into like a car shot. There's no possible way you could get that if you only have like, a T2i or something like that. If you don't have a gimbal or a stabilizer of any sort, you still shouldn't get discouraged. You might be like, how am I going to get smooth shots? And it's just by, getting 3 points of contact on your camera. Put the strap on your camera, put it around your neck, and then have two hands holding onto it at all times. Try your absolute best to stay sturdy while you're actually walking with the camera. And then when you bring it into post, like Adobe Premiere, you could put warp stabilizer on there to help keep it more stable and make it almost look like it's a gimbal shot. And where gear also matters though is you can't get certain lighting situations, you can't get cinematic lighting if you don't have the proper lights. Now, you don't need the best of the best, you don't need a 3-point lighting system, you just need something like a practical light there, or even a reflector that I have right here off of a key light. You can look at it as like a 3-point lighting system, because I have this practical light that's kind of acting as a hair light for me, then I have this bounce acting as a fill light for me, and then I have my main key light here. But you could get all of that just all from one light. Aperture has just made the Amron 100D and 200D, which those lights are actually really cheap for what you get. They're great lights, their CRI is really high on it, and I mean, there's such a great bang for your buck light. Now, if you want to go something even cheaper than that, there's some cheaper options like newer lights out there, and those, honestly, they do a great job as well. Now, moving into the cameras though, you don't need the best of the best, you just need a camera that's good enough. You need it to shoot at least 1080, which I think every camera nowadays has 1080 at least in it. Now, I made a video explaining the difference between 1080 and 4K and when you need them, which is going to be right here or right here. Just know when it does come to cameras, you just need something that's going to give you a nice image overall. Now, moving into though another point of where you actually do need gear is your audio equipment. The reason that you need better audio, you need that nice crisp and smooth and clean audio, is because as humans, 50% of the viewing experience is actually audio. But your sound is very high in production, and that's what's going to provide your viewers a very nice experience, is when you actually have really nice and crisp audio. Now again, you don't need the best of the best, you can just get a mic that, honestly, any mic that is external is going to be a lot better than whatever your internal mic is, but you don't have to be going out and spending $300, $400, $600, $800 on a mic. You can just use a Rode VideoMic Pro, which is about $200, or you could even go something cheaper with the Rode Mini, I think it is. For mics though, I would recommend trying to stick with some better brand like Rode, just because they're going to be more reliable, and you do want to make sure that the audio coming out of it is going to be the best that you can for the price point. And then moving into another point though is you need to make sure that you have your frame rates right. And if you're shooting outside in broad daylight, you can't shoot 24 frames a second at 1/48 or 1/50 because the sun is going to be way too bright. Your shot's going to be so washed out and overexposed. You do need to go and get ND filters as well. And including that, you do need some other filters if you do want some creative looks, if you don't want to be ruining your camera or ruining your lens by trying to mimic these looks by using some household products. But you do need to invest into some nice ND filters, just because you don't want to be putting a bad piece of glass in front of your good glass. You paid high money for these lenses to have a certain look and a certain color reproduction out of them. If you go with the cheaper ND filter, your lens is going to lose the quality that you just paid all that money for. And that's not what you want to do. So you want to be getting some of these like Polar Pros or Tiffins, and you want to make sure that the glass that you're actually putting in front of your good glass is going to not mess anything up coming into the camera. And then the last point I want to make too is there's no possible way you could get a drone shot unless you actually have a drone. And again, you don't need the best. If you don't have a lot of money to spend on a drone, you could go with the Mavic Mini. That's where I would say is going to be the lowest that you want to go to have better quality videos. You can't actually get your camera up in the air unless you have something that could actually fly up and get that aerial view. You do need all of these different tools and equipment though to be getting those shots that you need. You don't need to go and get like a Rhino slider, or you don't need anything in terms of the best of the best. You just need something that's going to be good enough to get the shot that you need. And sometimes you don't even need to have these certain pieces of equipment. It just is going to make the process a little bit easier. So don't get caught up because you don't have a certain piece of equipment. Go out there, create, be the filmmaker that you want to be, and don't worry about the gear. Don't worry about what you have or don't have. Just go out and do what you love to do. If you got something out of this video, please give it a like. Comment down below what your favorite piece of equipment is that you use on a daily basis. Consider subscribing, and I will see you in the next one.